Look, I need to tell someone this. I don't care if you believe me. I don't care if you think I'm losing it. But I need to say it out loud. Or type it out, whatever. Because if I don't, it's just going to sit in my chest like a stone. Until it crushes me. My name's Marcus. I'm 24. I've been a paramedic for 2 years, stationed out of Easton, Connecticut. And if you know anything about Easton, you already know about Union Cemetery. If you don't, here's the deal. Union Cemetery is one of the most haunted places in America, like documented haunted. Ed and Lorraine Warren, yeah, those Warrens, investigated the place. Back in the day, the big thing people talk about is the White Lady, a woman in a white gown, seen wandering the cemetery and the roads around it. There are decades of sightings. People have hit her with their cars and found nothing. Dash cam footage that's grainy and questionable, but makes your skin crawl anyway. When I first got assigned to the station nearby, the older guys told me about her. Dave, who'd been running calls in the area for like 15 years, brought it up on my second night. "You'll hear the stories," he said, not even looking at me, just staring out the windshield of the rig. People calling in saying they saw a woman walking on Route 59 at 2 in the morning wearing all white. No shoes. You go out, you find nobody. I laughed. Obviously I laughed, because that's what you do. Dave didn't laugh. "Just pay attention to the calls," he said. "That's all I'm saying." I didn't think about it again for weeks. We ran normal calls. Chest pain, slip and falls, a couple overdoses, a kid who broke his arm falling off a trampoline. Normal stuff. Sad sometimes, boring sometimes, occasionally terrifying in the way that emergency medicine just is terrifying when someone's life is in your hands and you're 24 and you still feel like a kid pretending to be an adult. Then November came. The first time I noticed the pattern, I didn't even realize I was noticing it. November 4th. We got a call around 1 a.m. Dispatch said a driver reported a woman in white walking along the road near the cemetery. Possible disoriented person, possible psych issue, could be a danger to herself. We rolled out with PD. We found nothing. No woman, no footprints, nothing. The cops did a sweep. Empty. We went back to the station. 45 minutes later, we got toned out again. Fatal cardiac arrest. A man in his 50s lived less than a mile from the cemetery. Dead before we got there. His wife said he'd been fine all day. Just collapsed in the kitchen while getting a glass of water. I didn't connect it. Why would I? November 11th, another call. Somebody saw a woman in white crossing Route 59, just gliding across the road. The caller was freaked out because they said she moved wrong. Not walking, not running. Just moving, like she was on a track, like her feet weren't touching the ground. We responded, found nothing. 2 hours later, a 19-year-old wrapped his car around a tree on the same road, dead on impact. The car was so destroyed we couldn't even get to him at first. I remember the smell. I remember how quiet it was after they cut the engine, and the only sound was the hissing of the radiator. At that time, something in my brain flickered, like a light turning on in a room you didn't know existed. I went back to the station and pulled the call logs. Not just November. I went back months, a year, further, every single time. Every single time. There was a report of a woman in white near Union Cemetery. Someone died within hours. Within a mile or two of the cemetery, sometimes a car accident, sometimes a medical call, sometimes something stranger. A guy found dead in his backyard with no explanation, cause of death, listed as undetermined. I'm sitting there at 4 a.m., scrolling through logs on the crappy station computer, and my hands are shaking. Not because I believe in ghosts. I'm not. I wasn't. That guy, I believe in medicine. I believe in science. I believe in the things I can see and touch and measure. But I was seeing a pattern, and patterns are science too. I brought it up to Dave the next day. I showed him my notes. He looked at them for a long time. Yeah, he said, quiet, like he'd been waiting for me to figure it out. What do you mean, yeah? I mean, I've known for years, Marcus. What do you want me to do about it? You. What? You've known? He looked at me, and this is the thing that really got under my skin. Dave looked tired, not scared, not freaked out, just exhausted, like a man carrying something heavy for a very long time. She shows up before someone dies, he said. That's what she does. That's what she's always done. She doesn't cause it, she doesn't choose it, she just knows. And she walks. That's insane. Yeah. So what do we do? He laughed. But it was the kind of laugh that has no joy in it at all. We do our jobs, we answer the calls, we try to save people, and when we can't, we go home and try to sleep. I couldn't let it go. Obviously, I couldn't let it go. Because here's the thing about knowing something like that. It rewires your brain. Every shift, I'd be sitting in the rig and I'd be waiting for dispatch to crackle with a report of a woman in white. And every time it came, and it came, maybe once or twice a month, I'd feel this sick drop in my stomach because I knew what was coming next. December 8th, report of a woman in white on Sport Hill Road. 2 hours later, a 67-year-old woman had a massive stroke and died in her living room. December 22nd. Woman in white, seen near the cemetery entrance. 90 minutes later, a hit and run on Route 59. The victim, a college kid home for the holidays, bled out before we arrived. I started driving the roads at night on my own time. Off duty, just driving, hoping I'd see her, hoping I could. I don't know. What was I going to do? Talk to her, stop her? I didn't have a plan. I just felt like if I could see her, maybe I could get ahead of it. Maybe I could be at the right place at the right time. Save someone before it was too late. January 14th, I was driving. It was around 2:30 a.m. and the roads were empty and icy, and the trees were these black skeleton shapes against a gray sky. And I came around a curve near the cemetery and she was there. I need you to understand something. I've seen a lot of messed up things in this job. I've done CPR on children. I've held a man's intestines inside his body while we waited for a helicopter. I've seen death up close, smelled it, touched it. Nothing has ever terrified me like seeing her. She was standing in the middle of the road, not walking, just standing. Her gown, it was white, but not bright white, more like the white of old bone. It was moving, drifting like she was underwater. But there was no wind. The air was dead still. I remember because the trees weren't moving. Nothing was moving, except her gown and her hair, this long dark hair that floated around her head like she was submerged in something. She had no face. I mean, she had a face. I could see the shape of it. The chin, the cheekbones, the place where eyes should be. But it was blank, smooth, like someone had taken an eraser to a drawing. I stopped the car. My headlights went on. She didn't react to the light. She didn't react to me at all. And then she moved. She just drifted to the right, across the road, toward the cemetery. Not walking. There was no up and down motion, no footsteps. She slid across the asphalt like she was being pulled on a wire. And then she was gone. Into the darkness between the headstones. sat there for maybe 10 minutes, my engine running. My hands locked on the steering wheel. I couldn't move. It was like every joint in my body had fused. Then my phone buzzed. It was a notification from the dispatch app. I looked at it with numb fingers. Fatal MVA, Route 59. Exactly where I was parked, but I was the only car on the road. I drove forward, around the curve, and there it was. The car had gone off the road, flipped, and hit the stone wall that runs along the edge of the cemetery. The roof was caved in. Steam was rising from the engine. The driver, a woman in her 40s, was already gone. She must have come from the other direction, hit the ice, lost control. It had happened minutes ago, maybe while I was sitting there watching the white lady cross the road. I called it in. I did my job. I checked for a pulse I knew I wouldn't find. I set up flares. I waited for PD and the engine company, and the whole time I kept looking at the cemetery, at the darkness between the stones. She wasn't there anymore, but I could feel her. After that night, something changed in me. I became obsessed. I started keeping a journal. Every sighting, every death, dates, times, locations. I mapped them. I tried to find a pattern beyond the obvious one. Was she appearing closer to the person who was going to die? Was there a time gap that was consistent? Could I use this information to actually prevent a death? I talked to Dave about it. He told me to stop. You can't stop it, he said. People have tried. You're not the first person to figure this out, Marcus. You're just the latest. What happened to the others? He didn't answer that. I should have listened. God, I should have listened. February. I was working a Friday night shift. Around midnight, dispatch got a call. Woman in white, walking on Sport Hill Road near the intersection with Church Road. I felt that drop in my stomach. The ice water feeling. But this time I also felt something else. Determination. I was going to get there first. I was going to patrol the area. I was going to find whoever was about to die and I was going to save them. I told Dave. He grabbed my arm, hard. Don't, he said. I pulled away. I took the rig out. I drove to the area. I parked. I watched. I had my kit ready. For 2 hours I sat there. Nothing happened. No crashes, no calls. The roads were quiet. At 3 a.m., I gave up. Went back to the station. Figured maybe I'd broken the pattern. Maybe just being there, being present and ready had been enough. Then at 6 a.m., as I was clocking out, I heard the tones drop. Cardiac arrest. Church Road. A 40-year-old man. Dead in his bed. His wife woke up next to him and he was cold. He'd been dead for hours. Probably died around 1 a.m. While I was sitting outside in the rig, waiting to save him, he was already gone. You can't outrun it. You can't outsmart it. That's what Dave had been trying to tell me. The white lady doesn't warn you, so you can change anything. She warns you because that's what she is. She's the period at the end of the sentence. She's not asking your permission. She's not giving you a chance. She's just announcing. I thought I understood that. I thought I'd accepted it. I hadn't. March 3rd, last week, I just finished a brutal shift. 48 hours, barely slept. I drove home to my apartment in Monroe, about 20 minutes from the station. It was late, maybe 11 p.m. cold. That kind of late winter cold where the air feels like it's made of metal. I pulled into my parking lot. Killed the engine. Sat there for a second, decompressing the way you do after a long shift, just letting the silence settle. Then I looked up at my building. She was standing in front of the entrance. The white lady, right there.
under the fluorescent light of the entryway, her gown drifting, her hair floating. That blank, smooth, impossible face turned toward me. She was closer than she'd been on the road, maybe 30 feet away. And at this distance, I could see details I hadn't seen before. The gown wasn't fabric. I don't know what it was. It looked like smoke that had decided to hold a shape. And her skin, the skin of her hands, her neck, her faceless face, it was gray, not white. Gray like ash, like something that had been burned a long time ago. She didn't move. She just stood there, and I understood. You know how people talk about their life flashing before their eyes? That's not what happened. What happened was worse. Everything just got quiet. The kind of quiet that isn't the absence of sound. It's the absence of future, like every plan I'd ever made, every tomorrow I'd ever assumed would come, just evaporated, gone, like they'd never been real in the first place. She was there for me. I don't know how long I sat in my car, minutes, maybe longer. When I finally looked again, she was gone. I went inside. I locked my door. I sat on my couch in the dark and I called Dave. I saw her, I said. She was at my apartment. Silence. Long, long silence. Dave? Yeah, I heard you. What do I do? More silence, then very quietly. I don't know, man. No one's ever called me the morning after. Let that sink in. Let that really sink in. No one who's seen her outside their home has ever lived to talk about it. I'm the first person Dave knows of who's still here the next day. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe this is how it works. Maybe she gives you a day. Maybe she gives you a week. Maybe she's patient because she knows she doesn't have to rush. Because it's already decided. The sentence has already been written. She's just waiting for the period. That was 6 days ago. I've been to a doctor. Full checkup, blood work, EKG, CT scan, everything all normal. Clean bill of health. 24 years old, no pre-existing conditions, no risk factors. But I know what I saw. I haven't been back to work. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see that blank face. Every time I hear a noise in my apartment. The fridge clicking on, the heat kicking in, a car door outside. My whole body locks up. I keep checking the window. Keep checking the parking lot. She hasn't come back. But here's the thing that's really messing with me. The thing that keeps me up at night staring at the ceiling. Heart pounding so hard I can feel it in my teeth. She's never been wrong. Not once. Not ever. Every single sighting in those logs, going back years, every single one was followed by a death. No exceptions. So either I'm going to be the first exception in the history of whatever she is, or I'm running out of time and I don't even know how much I have left. I keep thinking about something. When I saw her on the road that night in January, she was there before the crash. The woman in the car was probably still alive at that point, still driving, still breathing, still thinking about whatever you think about at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Maybe she was thinking about coffee, or her kids, or a show she wanted to watch. She had no idea. None. She was alive, and then she wasn't. And the only warning was a dead woman in a white gown standing in the road where it would happen. That's me now. I'm the person in the car. I'm alive, going through the motions, and somewhere out there, or right here, maybe right here in this room, in my blood or my brain or the wiring of my apartment or the structure of reality itself, something is already set in motion, something that ends with me, and I can't stop it. I don't know why I'm writing this. Maybe because I need proof that I existed, that I saw what I saw, that this is real. Maybe. And this is the thought that scares me the most. The one I keep pushing away, but it keeps coming back like a wave. Maybe I'm writing this because she wants me to. Because she's not just an omen. She's a messenger. And now, you've gotten the message too. So if you're ever driving through Easton, Connecticut late at night, and you see a woman in white standing on the road near Union Cemetery, don't stop. Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to figure it out. Just know that somewhere nearby, someone's clock just ran out. And pray to God it isn't yours. It's been 3 days since I wrote this. Marcus Chen, 24, was found unresponsive in his apartment in Monroe, Connecticut on March 12th. Cause of death: sudden cardiac arrest. No prior history of heart disease. No explanation. His laptop was open on his couch. This was on the screen. A neighbor reported seeing a woman in a white dress standing in the parking lot the night before. When police followed up, they found no evidence anyone had been there. The neighbor moved out the following week,